G'day and welcome to the 53rd episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. This week we are joined by community guest SlyOldDog. She stops by, we talk all of the Destiny, and Man-at-Arms fills the grumpy old man role vacated by Sloth for this week. What a legend. Stick around, it's a good one. Cheers. G'day and welcome to the 53rd episode of the Destiny Down Under podcast. I'm Lord Power Slave. To my left is my humble co-host, legend, lawmaster, and Obi-Wan Kenobi's illegitimate son, Myelin Games. How the fuck are you?
Good.
Good. I'm good.
Well, no, I'm not.
I'm happy to be
I'm not
here.
good, but I pretty much start every podcast with me not being good. So yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm good, and we'll move on. All right.
Okay, right. You've
Excellent.
been raid helping again, haven't you?
No, I've been spilling coffee on my keyboard and broke it
Oh, right. That's
on a brand new Corsair keyboard.
Oh wow, man.
$180 later.
That's an expensive cup of coffee, brother. All right, now below me in this box, you will notice that Sloth is absent, but we've replaced him with an equally angry old man. Man-at-Arms has come in as the super sub today. Just to, we didn't want to completely leave everyone in the lurch. Sloth couldn't make it, and Sloth basically lined this up anyway. So he's like, you can have my spot. Okay, I'll just get told what to do. And very importantly, SlyOldDog is our community guest this week. Welcome to our podcast.
Thank you.
We talk a lot of shit. It's not good in any way for your YouTube or Twitch career, but we have a good time anyway. So Matt normally gives a disclaimer to people after we're about 10 minutes in that this will actually harm your content wherever you were putting it.
All right.
So
Good
this
to
is
know.
yes. I think it's just an association thing. We're not particularly. We'll kill your channel by
on that
association.
note,
But so are we all good? Are we all ready to go? Let's get into the meat and bones of this thing, or what? We good?
let's do it.
Is it Matt? Are you okay?
Good.
You need to get anything off your chest. You really look like you might.
I keep thinking about how I might be able to fix this keyboard if I pop the buttons off and try to dry out the coffee, or my first thing was I'll get a hairdryer, and everyone yelled at me and said, "No, Matt, don't put a hairdryer to it." So look,
This is wrong.
That would have been where my mind jumped to. Either that or just get a fucking bucket of rice and put it in that.
Right, the only way to go.
Sloth said the exact same thing. He says, "Do not put a bucket of rice on it."
Yeah, that's why you listen to Sloth for these things and not me, man. I will lead you astray.
At least we're consistent with bad advice.
It's consistently bad if nothing else. All right, so Sly, welcome.
Hello.
Who are you and what do you
Thank
do?
you.
Where do you come from? What's the go? What are you all about? Please explain to us.
Well, I make YouTube videos. I've been making YouTube videos for maybe about 5 years or so now. And
Wow.
mostly I make Destiny videos, though lately I've kind of been branching out into other games. But yeah, Destiny's my home, basically. I stream sometimes, but not a terrible amount. I don't know why, actually. I should. But
I know why.
That's me, basically.
I have the same problem because real life is just a motherfucker and it gets in the way.
Well, yeah, that's also true.
It's a shit of a thing. So I don't know, man. I don't want to get into stereotypes and shit straight away, but what subclass are you so we can decide whether or not we like you at all?
Hunter, master, race.
Oh, yuck.
I'm sorry.
No, it's
I'm not
fine.
sorry, actually. No, I'm not. I'm really not. I am.
Matt's just standing there like he smelled a fart.
Sorry to disappoint you. But,
Yeah, because there's all of a sudden there's really bad taste in my mouth. I don't know where it's coming from.
No, so you've been
Feeling
a
very
hunter.
attacked
You've
right
always
now.
been a hunter. You started Destiny 1 as a hunter and you followed that through? Because we're trying to get to the bottom of it. Because there's a lot of people who are like, I'm a Titan. But they're only a fucking Destiny 2 Titan. They weren't a Destiny 1 Titan. And
Here's the thing. When I first bought the game, I had no idea. Destiny 1, I had no idea what I was doing. And I had a friend who was also playing it, and he wanted to play a hunter. So I picked a Titan, and then I played it for maybe a couple of days, and then I didn't really have anyone to play with. So I put the game down, and then I didn't go back to it. And it wasn't until maybe the January after the game released that I came back to it, and I made a hunter, and I never played anything else ever again.
Well, I mean, at least you know what you do. I guess that's one of those weird things about Destiny, in that, like, if you gave, like, I could pick what class people were going to pick just based on their personality nearly beforehand. Like, I've got a mate, my best mate, Keg. He was always going to be a hunter. So it's one of those things. I think it's a great thing that you can kind of, and, you know, me and Buffhead down below here are Titan to the core because we just like headbutting things, and that's, hey, men of simple taste. So how have you been finding Destiny 2? How, like, have you been enjoying it? I mean, obviously there's a lot of opinions and things out there, and positives and negatives, but have you had a good time so far is what we want to know.
I mean, yeah, I have had a good time, but I don't love Destiny 2 the way I love Destiny 1. And I haven't really put my finger on why yet. It's just, I guess I kind of feel like I don't have anything to chase anymore. You know, even in its very last days, Destiny 1 had things that you could still chase for, you know, like the god roll weapons, even though the state of the game was pretty bad, it was still something to do. And now that we're in a game that's taken away things like private matches and being able to play with more of my friends, it's just kind of missing something for me, but not enough to the point where I'm just like, I'm done with the game. You know, I still love the game and I still love everything about it. It's just, it's missing something for me right now.
I think a lot of people have that thought at the moment, and I'm sort of in the same boat as you. It's like, I think it's a combination of some of those features being rolled back, like the private matches and also the loot and the carrot and the stick, which we've spoken about a lot. Like the rewards need a little bit of tweaking as well. But I also think that Destiny 2 revisited a lot of area. Like, I know it's a sequel, but it didn't feel like it had that fresh wrapper that you have with Destiny 1. You know, all the like hardcore fans, we've been playing Destiny for 3 years, and you know there are some new subclasses in there, but there's a lot that's the same as well. So I think that combined with removing features that we were quite used to, and combined with a reward system that's not optimal at the moment, it's sort of putting people in a funny space where they're like, I like Destiny, but it's not holding my attention like it should, or like I know it can.
I think it's a matter of, like, there's so many little niggles that it adds up to just a larger feeling of kind of like discontent or unease. And I mean, I'm playing through on the third platform now. I've just hit end game on the PC, and like I'm kind of getting to that, like, if I've got a goal, I'm fine. Like, if I'm just bang, cool, I'm straight in, I can play, like, I've got to finish the story. All right, I've got to grind this, I've got to grind that. Now that I'm getting to the end game, it's a bit like, oh, okay. Like, my motivation to play, it just drops off that little bit, because I know that there's only a few things that I can do that really matter. But having said that, I know that will change, and they've already acknowledged that with, you know, media releases and things like that. Right. I think that it's just been an awkward jump for everyone to go from such, like, the cup basically runneth over at the end of Destiny 1 with, you know, Age of Triumph. Go and play whatever fucking raid you want. Everything's on the table. To then sort of like, oh, you don't have private matches.
You know, we know they're going to come back. We know they're going to come back, Ryan.
I've read rumors that it's going to be very early next year, so it won't be with Osiris, but it'll be like January. They'll do like a little update and bring that sort of functionality back, which a lot of the competitive players are fucking screaming for it, man. Like, there's, you know, I mean, it is what it is. You gotta make what you can of what you got. So for now, just go and kick people's ass in pubs. Like, it's cool.
Hey, Sly Old Dog, how did you get into YouTube?
I actually started by making videos of me and my best friend playing Call of Duty and GTA together. And it kind of just started out as this, like, just making videos for my friends type thing. And then as I started playing more and more Destiny, I stumbled on the Jez and I saw his Destiny videos and I was like, holy crap, I want to do that. And so I started editing stuff. I started, like, trying to figure out how he edited things together in such a way that was, you know, like, catchy and attractive, you know, that people would want to watch it. And then I just kind of went from there. That's sort of how I morphed into I kept on doing it. And then, yeah, that was it.
So you're much more of like a comedic sort of style channel?
I live for the funny moments. Like, that's what I do. I'm not too invested in the mechanics behind the game or the lore or anything. It's
well, I was gonna say, you better not. You fucking better not say that.
Get off my fucking turf! I'm already in an established gang war with bike and fucking beard.
Not my thing. Not my thing. I live for my friends doing stupid stuff. You know, that's what I do.
I'm exactly
the
same.
For it.
I'm exactly the same in that, like, I really appreciate the lore videos, so I can watch them and not have to learn this shit myself. But it is really lacking in dick jokes for me, I find. Like, if there was a good few dick jokes just snuck into the lore, maybe I could be a lore guy and really, really thrive. But until then, I tried my hand at it, and it's not for me.
I hear you, man. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I applaud you. That comedy is hard. Comedy on the internet is harder. It's very hard to appeal to a lot of different tastes in funniness and do it well. And that's why, you know, we don't have like a lot of just thinking what is it. Jazz is probably maybe some of the PvP channels do some pretty funny content as well.
Are we talking about who's the funniest bloke in Destiny?
Yeah, who's the funniest bloke in Destiny?
Man at Arms. Only because he's here. And then definitely like I don't know how he I think Jez, and I don't know whether it was by design or by luck, but the whole in a nutshell fucking concept, everything just about that brilliant. Is just so fucking. It's so like
that's That's how you get success on YouTube. You need to find that niche market. You need to find a way of delivering content that just suits your soul. And when you get that, it's Disney. It's magical, and people enjoy it. You know.
Well, clearly, I mean, the proof's in the pudding. He's killing it. And like, I mean, whenever I see one of those videos pop up, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this, even if I'm at work. So, you know, credit to him. He does amazing stuff, and it's, you know, I'm willing to give it to him. Other people are saying Mr. Fruit, he talks way too fast.
I think Mr. Fruit did a lot more like staged comedy, like scripted comedy in the beginning. Like that's where I remember his like Talking Heads one. Do you remember that? Like, he had like, I think I actually had more subs than him when he was doing that. This was like really early on. And you know, when you just do the inspection of the helmet, he was putting like voiceovers over that and doing like conversations between Guardians and stuff. And it was so funny. So funny.
I'll have to go back and dig it out. I'll have to scroll for fucking 600 hours to get down to his old content, but still.
That content. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I don't know how people do that. He punches out so much content. I'm more of the once a month if I'm lucky kind of dude. Then again, I guess I do punch out content every week with this, but it is what it is. It's a different beast. But yeah, that's all. So streaming on Twitch, you said you do it pretty intermittently, but it's is that basically your vibe? Just stuffing around and having a good time? Is that what we're going to
basically
see with the comedy channel?
I don't like to take things too seriously, especially video games. You know, we go through life and you're expected to be serious about things, and why come home and project that onto a video game? You know, like if you just kind of sit back and look at stupid things that happen in that game, you know, the way people ragdoll when they die, or people falling off stuff and killing themselves with trip mines. It's like, it's the little things that I find the funniest. And when you surround yourself with a group of people like I have, their reactions are even better, especially when they know that I've seen it, and I just live for that, to be honest. I think that video games are all about having fun.
I think Destiny is a good fit for that too, because there's so much opportunity to laugh at other people's misfortune in it, and I think that's one of the you need that as much as people. It's like lowbrow humor, I suppose. But if you can't laugh at other people and like just falling off something, getting like you get hit by one of those big Cabal fucking ball dropship things, and it sends you skittling off into the universe. I defy anyone to have that happen to them and not laugh, or at least feel a ripple of joy through their soul.
Or as the Titans do, when a loot chest spawns and you just melee it into oblivion.
Have they changed
I have never
that?
done that.
Have they changed that?
Not one time.
I've done it.
I can't tell if my arms are being serious or not. I think he's not being serious.
I don't think he's being serious at all. But matter of fact, I think I've seen him do it, or maybe he told me how to do it. But I think they've changed it because you can't do it anymore, I don't think. At least not on PC. Because you like shoulder charge and it's like the box just weighs an absolute shitload. It like moves half a foot. So maybe they've increased the universal weight of boxes.
The overall weight.
Yes.
The Glimmer's made of lead now.
Glimmer is made of lead. All right, well, I mean, there's a bit of news this week, so do we want to dive in? There's a few things that, there's going to be things that upset the apple cart. A bit of drama. Are we ready? Are we ready?
Yeah.
Hang on, I've got to queue up the thing. Turns out I wasn't ready, which is somewhat
I've been biding my time.
All right, let's go.
News.
Yeah, there we go. Music. Fucking
nailed it.
I don't know, dude.
Nailed it.
I need sloth.
Yeah,
I'm realizing how much I
No, it
rely on
worked.
sloth.
We had the music. We had
I
the
know.
music.
We heard.
Yeah, he keeps the wheels on. I can't be trusted to do that. I'm just realizing now. All right, so this week at Bungie, or they have, where are we? There is an update coming on December 5th that basically with the Curse of Osiris that will see the high-res packages for the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro will, you'll get your higher res textures, lighting engines, all that sort of shit. So that's when that's coming out. That's the first thing that's in there, right? So
is it 4K? Is it 4K on the PS4 Pro?
4K resolution, or adaptive 4K resolution. So yeah, so that is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting just to see what it's like. You know what I mean?
What was it, man?
I mean, is that a big deal? The 4K. I mean, is there like a lot of people that just?
Have you seen 4K?
I've seen 4K. It's still going to be 30 frames. It could look fantastic. I don't know. It was an honest question, you dick. I'm fucking old.
It doesn't matter to us, man, because our fucking eyes are too shit to see 40K or 4K or whatever. The 40K, fucking hell. I'm falling into Warhammer.
Young whippersnappers.
Our eyes are like half a K. me.
Yeah, it just sounded like that's a question that people that have not experienced 4K ask Man at Arms. Okay.
I had to text Log when I did my video a couple weeks, and I sent him a screenshot and I said, "Why is the movie so small? Please help me." So some time goes by. I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Have you tried clicking it and expanding it?" So 5 minutes later, I respond, "Fuck."
What was you on? What were you using?
It was in the video. It was in fucking Adobe Elements or whatever, and he had like this small little video in the middle of his black space. And he's like, "Why is it so small?" I went, "Just make it bigger, drag it."
Man, I'm old. He's like, "Have you tried clicking it?"
Oh my god. Anyway, so after we get 40K for the console, what's next?
40K. We're actually going to see the first clarion call in a week or so. So on the November the 17th. We'll have a clan-based clarion call. Now, they've clarified that they're not all going to require you to be part of a clan. But this first one will be, you will get double XP when you play with a clan member. So, a fellow clan member.
What's a clarion call?
A clarion call is a double XP weekend, Matt. But it's a fancy name for it.
You're talking like, does clarion have previous meaning? Or is that just a word?
Clarion's a horn, man.
I actually had to Google it.
It's a big
what
horn.
does it mean, man?
Okay, all it is they're setting together some events, The first one's going to be clan related, so you do certain activities with clan members. You get double XP, so you can get bright engrams. And they're going to rotate them out. I believe I understand the reason for it because the dawning is around the corner, so they'll probably have it set up by coincidence that solo players will be able to earn double XP to get more bright engrams, to get more loot, and the tower scenario starts to kick in.
Okay, so a clarion, the correct answer, Man-at-Arms, is a shrill, narrow-tubed war trumpet.
Yeah, a clarion. I said it was a fucking trumpet. It goes,
It's a trumpet.
I was giving you the meaning of the event. I am not a dictionary. I'm an American. I immediately have an educational deficit.
Well, Man-at-Arms, look, this is the only thing that I know. Anyone in the bottom left-hand corner of this DDU podcast, I make fun of, and they make fun of me. That's Sloth spot. It's where Sloth sits, and I just, so that you're gonna cop the abyss.
Why the fuck wasn't I told this up front?
Sorry, man. I'm very sorry. And we just turned into the Brady Bunch momentarily. Then just we broke the fourth wall. Calm down.
Okay. Well, we could do this.
So, I mean, that is what it is. It's the double XP weekend. So, if you haven't got a clan, get out and get one. I know a good one, but I'm not going to spruik that. I think I've done that to death. The other thing that they've touched on this week in the This Week at Bungie, they had an interview with the lead team for guided games. Now, it's something that we've all been a bit critical of on the podcast. And it's good to see some kind of positive things coming in. I don't know whether they're doing enough. Because they're sort of, they were asked the whole, are you going to get a reward for doing it as the clan that can carry, as the people who carry you through? And they were very vague on that. So whether or not people will do it, I don't know. But there is going to be an audio cue when you've found a guide. I'll try not to read these in a patronising voice. Or maybe I should just go with the patronising voice. What do you reckon? Full clans can now guide, so you can still be a good bloke, go out there and get amongst things without having the ability to recruit from it. So I mean that's a big deal for my clan because it's full. Added reminders that if you reject a clan, you're still at the front of the line, so you don't need to pick guides with a mission statement that looks appealing. You can what? Okay, never mind. I'm just going to move on. The guided games will support the new Nightfall and raid content. There's that word again that's scaring me a bit. You'll find in the Curse of Osiris. So basically, they improved it a little bit.
Okay, hold on. That's guided games will support new raid content.
Yes.
Does anyone else find that really interesting? Because why would you have to say that if it was already in the raid? Is this going to be a standalone thing?
I don't know. And I don't know what to deduce from that. I'm getting that sinking feeling.
How do you have a guided games for raid content that's not in the Leviathan? That's weird. That's a weird sentence.
Well, it implies one of two things. It implies one of two things. That there is a different raid that is coming with Osiris, or there is a different way of doing the current raid with Curse of Osiris.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a new raid. They said that. But how can you match make for the new raid content? I guess that's what I'm asking, which means there's a different way of getting in there, right? What's your theory, man?
As far as like the new raid content, everybody's debating. So I made this statement a while back. If you stand on Nessus at a certain area, you see the Leviathan actually eating Nessus. So however long it was, I said, well, why aren't the Vex just tearing the living shit out of the Leviathan right now, being that their planet they're standing on is being eaten? So you could interject the Vex into Leviathan raid, maybe add a couple extra sections, and you have new raid content, so to speak.
I don't know. I mean, as long as there's a cool story tied into it, I'm kind of getting over gold. Maybe another color. Maybe we can put a filter on it or something, but I don't know. What do you reckon, Matt? Do you reckon we're not getting a new raid, clearly. I really think that's the consensus.
I think... Look, I was listening to some other streams before, and people think that there'd be something very similar to Prison of Elders, and the more I think about it, you might be able to get like a Prison of Elders type encounter on the Leviathan. like just going with what Man of Arms just said, what if the hub world just becomes like Prison of Elders? The doors are locked and it's just like survive Vex invade the Leviathan.
Oh, yeah.
And that would fit story wise because you actually you survive the encounter, removing the Vex from the Leviathan, streamlines back into Callus's storyline, and then you complete the Leviathan still beat Robot Callus. So it doesn't affect anything story wise. Fits in with the Vex taking over Leviathan, and because it takes place on the raid, you can call it raid content. I reckon. Okay. Look, but I reckon people are going to be I reckon they'll be crucified if they do something like that. If they call that raid content, I think they will be crucified.
I think.
I mean, they haven't given a shit yet. I mean, let's be
do you remember? I
was thinking about our conversation we had last month. We were talking about if they don't do anything special with the prestige armor, it would be a huge mistake and people wouldn't want to do it. Obviously, they didn't pull the audience because they didn't do that. So as far as like listening to what we're bitching and complaining about, obviously they have a plan. They have an agenda. You know, they're going down the line. A, B, C, D. We're going to release this on this date, this on this date, this on this date, and the screeching is kind of being ignored right now because not everything is out. I mean, and I'm trying to play devil's advocate. The full game is not out. So December we get new content. So I'm thinking maybe this all ties into a greater storyline, dare I say? But I am reaching.
You remember House of Wolves, right? House of Wolves? That was meant to ship with the raid, and then they didn't because Crota was such a awful raid and so buggy. And they changed it to Prison of Elders. So, you know, we've had that sort of switch between raid and Prison of Elders before as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're really in a point where they've made like a rod for their own back, right? Like, I mean, they set the bar so high with the Vault, and then you go from the Vault to Crota, and Crota's like, everyone calls it a glorified strike. And then the next content that they released, they went, well, we're not even fucking bringing out a raid. They got gun shy. And then after that, King's Fall, and it was a bigger in scope and was, sort of more what people expected. So, I don't know. I mean, I would have thought that coming into Destiny 2 after learning all of those lessons, that it probably would have been a little bit more organised. But who knows? I mean, maybe there's something coming that we haven't seen yet. I personally don't have a problem with a Prison of Elders type event. It's just that I think it'd be suicide for them to call it raid content in any way.
Yes.
It's got to be a different thing. Yep. How do we even get to...
I completely agree. I don't have an issue with a Prison of Elders style release in a DLC that's, only a couple months into the game. That's completely fine, but calling it, if they do that and it just takes place on the Leviathan and it's called raid content, unless they're going to introduce this as like a new mechanic in raids going forwards, like if they're going to add something to raids now, so it's not just your typical like A to B with fire team, 6 people, but you could go into the raid and do a Prison of Elders like thing and get keys so you can maybe go in with a team of 3 and explore the underbelly without actually doing the typical pathway of the raid. Like, unless they start going, okay, look, Prison of Elders, we like that concept. We're going to mix it in with raids so that we've got different encounters in the raids. So people that maybe not there yet with taking the step to find a team and going to a raid, maybe they can get acclimatized to that area, the underbelly, and spend some time and they get a bit more comfortable, and then they can do the raid later. I don't know.
I think that's the thing at the end of the day. With that raid, there's so much of it, and it's so fucking vast. Like, part of me is like, I want a new raid, because that's just what everyone wants, because it's fucking Destiny, let's be honest. But then, like, if they pull off some kind of like raid redux where it like flips the raid on its head and now it's Vex or something like that, I think it'd be a great way to kind of give areas of that raid that currently aren't focal points, like all the underpasses and all of that whole subterranean friggin' huge area that really you only go to go and get your boxes. Like, there's plenty of scope for there to be more encounters and stuff in there, right? So I don't know. I'm
What do you
going to
reckon, Sly?
reserve my judgment. Like, part of me is disappointed that it says new raid content, because that every time I see those like little content fingers come up, I'm like, well, what is it? Come on. Oh, it's prestige
Come
mode. It's just a bit harder
Come on.
again. You know, like,
What do
that
you-
can suck it.
What do you think, Sly?
I don't like speculating, to be honest, because it drives me crazy. You know, like there's so many different ways this could go, and I just like to kind of wait and see what actually happens before I start, like, you know, getting.
We have
getting
someone
in depth
reasonable on the
about
podcast.
How did this happen?
Just,
Oh my
it
God.
just
Bloody
I don't see, you know, like, I mean, all the things you guys are talking about are possible and valid, but until it's here, I don't.
All right, let's
Words.
rephrase the question.
Words are hard.
Let's rephrase the question. What endgame content would you most like to see come out of Curse of Osiris? Like, and this is not like based in any kind of practical reality. It's just like, what would you want, Sly? Because this is basically what me and Matt do. We just kind of put our ideas into like, this is what we think it'll be, and then we get disappointed.
It's not so
But we
much
never revisit
like
old
the-
episodes, and we never hold ourselves accountable for the crap we say. So go for your life.
It's not so much what the content is; it's the replayability of that content.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care what it is. Just make it so that it's fun to do over and over again.
And I think that funness comes from what you said before, which is having something to
About
work for.
people, I think, you know, the people that you're with make it fun, and you know, the people that I play with on a regular basis, it's not about the game, it's about the people that I'm spending time with that are making it fun for me. So I guess I hold my friends to a higher level than the game because it's about them to me.
Yeah, I think that's such a common thread through the Destiny community. Like, most of my, I'm trying to think of, most of my weekly rituals in Destiny aren't about doing actual content. It's like, oh, I'll get on a weekly reset because all the boys will be on just blasting, and we end up in these huge big Xbox parties just talking shit and whatever. I think that's a really common thread. So if you can get something out of Curse of Osiris that gives you something that you can grind in for 4 hours, feel like you're achieving something, and have a great time talking to your friends, then you're happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Exactly.
But I think that that'll be the new Prison of Elders, just to throw some speculation in there. There you go. I've speculated on your behalf.
Thanks.
I'll just take some creative license. Now, the other thing, Destiny fans, we know we are Destiny fans, but obviously, whenever you go on Twitter, there's always some outrage. Outrage of the week this week is the reset apocalypse. They've changed when the weekly reset is. It's going to be 4 a.m. Australian time, or Eastern time, 3 a.m. for Sloth. What, like 1 a.m. for you, Matt? Holy shit. Has it ruined your life? Because I've seen so many tweets about how this is just, there's marriages breaking up because of this, and just all sorts of bad shit.
Intense.
So what was the original time? How many hours we're talking difference now?
Oh, I think it's pushed forward by 8.
Yeah.
So what was it before? Is it
So
the middle
for
of the
me
night?
now,
for
it's 8
people?
p.m. It's 8 p.m. for me now. It'll be 4 a.m.
I think it's 6 a.m.
Okay.
for me now.
Yeah, it sucks. And so why people are upset because reset was the time they could get on and make a Xur video. Guys, this is what Xur's inventory is. Is that why? Fucking make some other content. Shit. Sorry.
Just not law, because Matt will have to kick your ass.
I'm sorry. How about you read a Grimoire card? How about do that?
Scratch him off the list.
Oh, you're making a... Wow.
Australian time isn't real. No, you're right. It isn't real. We live on our own time. Everything here is backwards. It's actually, it's 1984.
I actually saw that earlier. I felt bad for you guys because it was like me, it's 5 a.m., so it's noon. Okay, I'll start when I get home in the evening. No big deal.
Yeah, like what?
4 a.m., you guys are not. You're losing a whole day. I mean, it's like you'll pick it up on the back half, but is it a huge deal? No. But I did think that was kind of shitty. Australia kind of took it in the ass on that one.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter No, you just get on at the same time. Like if everyone just gets on at the same time, we're not racing towards anything. And the raids are always released at stupid o'clock anyway. Like raids are always released at 1 a.m. here. So the only thing that's changed is, oh wait, let me check nothing.
I want to hurry up and check nothing. Come on. I think like there's a little bit of convenience in that, like that's lost in that. I remember back in Destiny 1 when we had Iron Banner that wasn't incredibly fucking awful and punishing, that I could jump on at like 6 p.m. and finish all the daily milestones, and then it'd reset at 8, and then I'd finish them again, and I'd do 2 days worth of work in one day. But, you know, like, is that really worth fucking complaining about? Like, I know, it sucks. Yeah. It's if you're really upset about it, I'm sorry, because you've clearly got nothing else to worry about in your life.
Well, I mean, look, I think even for I don't look. I think some channels have value in doing reset stuff, but I can't imagine that's a huge views wise. I know like Dado and some of the big guys, you know, they get a decent amount of views off like a Zer video, and they always put them out really quickly. But it's just people want to know where it is and get some basic information. But for all the other plebeians that don't have 500,000 subscribers, I can't see your channel being destroyed by the reset time. Or you know, I would really be considering making other content after 3 years. I don't think we need reset videos. I'm sorry. Did you reset videos, SlyOldDog? Please tell me you don't do reset videos.
No,
there's
never.
nothing to talk about in the reset. There's no special roles at the vendors. Hey, you can go buy this gun this week. We don't have any of that shit anymore. That's fucking gone.
So it's just Zer. Zer is the only fucking dude. I guess.
Or you could take 10 seconds and go to your map and, oh, he's there, and go look for your fucking self.
Exactly.
He's up a tree again. Zer's up a tree.
Okay, what's next?
I don't know. You know what? I just want to stop for a second. Because Sloth's not here, Matt's hard. What's going on? You're just getting into people.
Well, I'm hell harsh.
Yeah, you're just...
Yeah.
I think
No. Hold on. I've got a reason for this.
Yeah.
Go on.
The dead keyboard.
No, it's a double whammy. Okay.
Okay, right.
I spilt a full cup of coffee on the keyboard, so that means I haven't had my coffee this morning.
Oh no! Oh no! Should I just dump this podcast now? We'll just call it off. There was no episode 53. Sorry, Sly. Anything could happen. I didn't realize that. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. I just assumed that while you were pining over your keyboard, you would have went and put the kettle on again or whatever. No,
we didn't know the coffee incident had just happened. We didn't know that was a fresh wound.
No, it happened 5 hours ago.
If you lift up this
why
keyboard
the fuck
right
haven't
now,
you drank coffee?
Because I've been streaming. I didn't want people to just look at a microphone whilst I went and made a coffee. That's the kind of value
Have you
of
pissed, man?
That's why. No, I don't. I've got a catheter in, mate. All pro streamers have catheters, yo.
I mean, like, can you imagine Sloth if Sloth didn't dart off for a bunger every now and then?
You know, if you leave stream, you lose viewers. It's simple. Leave stream equals lose viewers.
So
you got to keep the entertainment.
I'm glad you got that catheter, Matt. That seems to be working well for you because you're not. I'm just shitting in a bucket over on my side of the country. It's not going well at all. Moving on, fucking hell. So, reset for us in Australia, at least if you're in New South Wales, will now be 4 a.m. I guess the one part of it that does suck, but if things are released at reset, we're just going to be late to the party. I mean, I will be anyway, unless you really want to get up at 4 a.m., which is pretty brutal. I'm not sure. I kind of haven't ironed that out yet, but we'll live, won't we? Is there anyone catastrophically close to, like, a mental breakdown over not being able to play the instant content becomes available?
Nope.
No.
Good. The silence there was deafening. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Right.
Righto.
All right, now we'll get into the content review. I picked something pretty different this week, and it's like normally everything I put in here is a thinly veiled dick joke. And that's kind of my role here. I'm the dick joke guy. That's fine. I figured I didn't need to do that this week because Man at Arms is here, so I've gone with something a little bit more serious. Now, I read an article by PC Gamer this morning, actually. So it was a last minute one, which I feel like I've stolen Matt's thing there, like getting the last minute fucking content. But it was basically about how Destiny's netcode works and the pros and cons of a lot of it. Some of it's not pretty reading, some of it's pretty, it backs up a lot of the frustrations that we do have with it. Part of it's eye-opening. Now, I learnt that on PC, the maximum tick speed for Crucible is actually higher than it is on consoles, and that's because of the frame rate, because it's limited by a frame rate on the PC. So on the console, sorry, so it's 30 max for consoles, it's 40 max for PC. Whether or not you ever actually realistically get that, given that there's a whole heap of other million factors that go into it, like connection speeds and all that sort of stuff, I don't know. But it's an interesting read if it's the kind of thing that you know what, if you're going to go on a rant and jump on the Bungie forums and complain about these sorts of things, do your fucking research first and read this article, because it'll really highlight a lot of stuff. But it was genuinely informative. PC Gamer, go and check it out. I'll share the link. Actually, I'll chuck the link in the chat right now.
The link in chat, yeah. Let's do
and
it.
yeah, it's definitely an eye opener for me anyway. And most of this stuff was, it's basically the same way Destiny 1 works. There's no real reinvention of the wheel. So if you had a fair understanding of that, this will sort of re-solidify that. Anyway, Matt, have you got anything, or are you preparing?
Yeah, no. I've got it, mate. Mate, when the teacher eventually calls my name and says, "Matthew, have you done your homework?" I'm ready, mate. Whether I've done it or not. Okay, so I've got it.
I got standby homework, motherfucker.
Okay.
Righto. Okay. What
so
have you
recently,
seen this week?
Aussie Man Reviews. I'm sure you know Aussie Man Reviews.
I don't think
Do you
there's
guys
anyone in Australia that doesn't know Aussie Man Reviews.
Well, he's been less. I think he got hit hard with the adpocalypse, and he sort of hasn't been around as often as I would hope. But he just released Aussie Man's mega compilation #1, and my God, I've not laughed that hard in a long time. It is pure awesomeness. I'm gonna put that in chat. Aussie Man Reviews, so good. Do yourself a favour, watch the mega compilation.
If you are new to the concept of Australia, this will be a great introduction on basically how our entire culture works, because it's just
Australian etiquette,
aggressively taking the piss out of everything, and that's all there is to it.
It's so good. That's my content for the week.
That is unreal. Right, Man at Arms, I've seen that you've been cheeky and you've put 2 in. Now, I don't know whether this may be a court-martialable offense.
There's a story. There is a story. I'm insane, but there's a method to this. So, if you did not know this or not, Sloth was actually the first streamer I ever watched. Anywhere, and
I feel so sorry for you.
I'm sorry. I mean, I guess it's a good thing in that it set the bar low and you've been impressed by everyone else.
But during one of his Twitch raids, I met a young lady from New Zealand called Rena Jellybean. And Jilly and I have become very close friends. I'll play with her on stream on occasionally, and she's just a good person with a great community. She's fun, and anyone who's associated with Terra Australis knows our friend Sora. And Sora was just recently, I can't remember if it was last week or the week before, just got Twitch affiliated. And Sora and Jilly have met and become fast friends, so they may be the new Logan Sloth of streaming. It looks like it's slowly evolving.
You mean that they're just going to detract from Twitch on the whole, or is that where you go?
Well, but no, it's just, there's a lot of people with the YouTube channels they have plenty of subscribers, and here's 2 people that I personally know that we know, and they're friends, and what the hell? You should give them a look. If you want to see 2 people who generally have no dramas and have a good time, go watch them.
That is an absolute excellent way of describing what they're about to. And like, Matt, I noticed that you have the same problem that I have in remembering that Sora and Second Star Gaming aren't 2 different people.
Dude, it trips me out.
They should make a fucking rule that you have to be called the same thing on every platform that you're on when it's to do with gaming. It's
And then
so
people
fucking...
get angry at you. People get angry when you freaking don't recognize their name. You're like, you know what? There's like 100 people in here, and every single one of you have a different Twitch name, a different YouTube name, a different Twitter name, with X's and ones and threes replacing E's, and I can't remember it all. Okay.
I'm looking at you, Sillet.
You know who I'm looking at? RT sloth, a deranged sloth, real-time sloth. What the fuck, man?
Do you know, when I go to message Sloth, I can never message him in Twitter. I start typing, okay, I just think maybe Sloth will work. No, Sloth doesn't work. Doesn't bring him up. Okay. A deranged sloth. No, that's not right. The deranged sloth. No, I can't get that one right. The real time. Oh, the real time sloth. That's the one. No.
That's you know, I mean, it's an issue. We need to iron it out. We need to come down hard on these people. Seriously, Sloth, you're part of the problem. We're coming for you, man. You want to get back on the podcast next week? You got to have consistent naming everywhere, or you're done.
You're done. Just change the Sloth everywhere. Okay.
Just Sloth. Just go and buy the hashtag Sloth or handle anyway. All right, Sly, what have you got for us this week? What have you seen?
We kind of already talked about it before, but the new Nutshell video by Jez came out this week, and if you haven't seen it, it's just honestly the best series coming out of Destiny, I think, right now, and it's just so funny and so true. Like everything that he complains about, I think is what everybody's frustrated with, but he puts it in such a funny way that you don't feel negative about it, you know?
Yeah. It's funny it's funny that it can be so, it's done in such like a smarmy, like negative, like way, but it's like even the first one where I'm trying to remember which video it was actually in. It might have been one that he did during the beta, but where they're fighting down and the floor keeps disappearing. He's like, oh, the floor's disappeared again. I guess this is life now. Like, just, okay, you know, fine. It's just, I mean, I can't do it for shit. He's obviously got a very fucking, he's dialed in on the character that is the sarcastic complaining guy. But
I watched a video of Sly's. It's her and the Jez doing the Leviathan raid right when it was, I guess it was newish. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, it was right on release. So it was literally minutes after it came out, and it was, I think it was 3 a.m. for him and 5 a.m. for me, something like that. So we were already tired, and
I'm going to say the same thing about the Jez that they say about Jack Nicholson. He is the most untalented fucker ever because he's not acting. That's actually him. The shit he said in the raid is the same shit you hear in one of his videos, and it's fucking hysterical. Yeah. Because I watched the whole thing. It was like, I have no fucking idea how long it was. I'm just like, I couldn't stop watching. And it's basically us on a Wednesday drunk taking a piss and the shit that we do, but this guy is a little bit more talented and better looking than us.
Yeah, can't confirm. Basically. Can't confirm. I'll accept that on all fronts. The superior Australian. Good on you, Jez. You've done well. But no, if you haven't seen that, I don't know what fucking rock you've been living under, but go out and watch it. It is definitely worth the clicks. And yeah, fuck. Well, I mean, we've ripped through the run sheet this week.
I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to talk. I was looking at it earlier, and you know, because I sent Log a little snapshot of, I was getting ready to click on the controversial thread on Twitter. I said, I'm going in. If you don't hear from me, you can remember me fondly. And the most entertaining thing I read in 2 days was a guy summarized this week's TWAB, and it said, Deej, hey everyone, I don't have anything important to say. Here's the next guy. Cosmo, here's some movies. Laundry list of computer failures and glitches. See you next week, fuckers! And that was the most entertaining thing I saw on the Bungie forum all week.
Wow. I mean, like, does that mean that it's not just a cesspit of toxicity and maybe we can start putting the toe back in the water there? Or is it just that was the only...
In all honesty, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, listen, we bitch, we moan, we complain. We all know this. Anyone who's ever met us knows this. But we kind of touched on this earlier in the podcast, but couldn't segue into it. I read a lot of the complaints, and there's genuinely a lot of people out there that are offering constructive criticisms on what they would like to see change, what they prefer. There's all these polls. It's not really the mindless screeching that we're all used to, that I was born out of on the forum, because I am one of these people. But it's just in so many different directions. So there's nobody really has an answer. There's no cohesion. But at least people are in a somewhat constructive tone starting to give their ideas. Whereas I would just say a bunch of curse words and make up some shit and look for the trolls. But, you know,
I think
maybe the audience is maturing.
I mean, just generally painting in broad strokes about the community, I think we're kind of starting to see it turn where the real sort of anyone who's really just toxic and shitty about it is starting to just go, oh, I've run out of steam, I'm moving on. And they're not.
We beat them. We got them.
Yeah, we will outlast you.
We outlasted you.
So, I mean, if you're out there and you're overwhelmed by the negativity of everyone in the Destiny community, just ignore them for forever and they'll go away. That's the thing. And also, if you're watching the video version of this, I did just accidentally unbutton my shirt, so I'm technically now a booby streamer. Anyway. Geez, that's it. We're not touching on that. This is the Destiny podcast.
No.
That's been a big thing this week.
That's 20 minutes that I won't shut up. Just
So, what are the plans for everyone's week? Matt, what have you got in the pipeline? You've always got the most interesting shit because you actually plan to do things.
So I've got Anonpig is helping out with some more scripts for lore videos. So we've got a video in the pipeline. You're gonna have to wait to see. I've got that, and I need to catch up with Gamma Trap. New month, new Patreons. I need to send people new posters for the Patreon. They get some of the top tiers get like artwork every month, so I've got to send those out. I just sent the Myelin Games custom pins out last week, so that's pretty cool. People should be getting those pretty soon if they're Patreons. And then we've got to finish off the series for Callus's Traitors, so we're going to be doing the Fulminators next, which are a bit like the Stormcallers. And probably playing PUBG.
How's PUBG been?
Oh, and buying a new keyboard. And buying a new keyboard. After this, I'm going to rip apart this keyboard and see if I can fix it.
I meant to ask off the top before we started, is that your new microphone, and did you manage to purchase an XLR cable?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to know how long the cable is?
1 meter.
Do you know how the shortest cable I could purchase was?
15 meters.
6 meters.
What?
6 meters.
Wow.
Cable.
Mine is half a meter and it's too short.
That was the shortest cable. 6.
From where? Where are you buying this shit, Matt? I'm pretty sure any music shop in the country would have like a meter long one. A meter.
But you know the thing, I didn't actually think. Look, I'm not a music person. I didn't even think. I was just thinking of electronic stores. I was like, where the fuck do I get an XLR cable from? So I went to JCar, and yeah, they only had 6 meters. And then I saw there was a spot for a 2 meter one. I was like, well, maybe a 2 meter that would be much better. It'd still be just way too long, but whatever. Like, no, we don't have any of those left. Take a 6. So.
I mean, I guess if you have technical issues, there's enough cable there to hang yourself if you really need it. But
well, you know what? It actually worked because my so the cable's plugged into the mixer, which is plugged into the USB port on the keyboard, so it's all really close together. And then because I'm at a sit-stand table, the PC tower is actually quite far away, and I needed to run the cable all the way to the PC tower because my keyboard had to be unplugged because it had coffee in it.
We're back. Myelin, you should start a setups channel. You should really do that. You need to do like a behind the scenes. You know how Goth does those videos that he puts out like once every year and just makes everyone feel like shit for how much stuff they don't have.
Not only will no one watch my setup video, but it'll be completely wrong. And we're like, Mom, that is the worst way to set up a stream. Okay.
No, yeah, it's not worth it because Sloth would go through and like have a handwritten critique of about 15 pages of everything you've done wrong.
And then post it.
Yeah, the sheathing on that XLR cable is too thick. You want to go for the .002 sheath. It stops the electromagnetic pulses coming from your PC, and your fan is set up way too high. You need to drop that there. Rookie numbers, you need to drop that right down. Okay. Sorry.
I mean,
Oh, man.
full
It's-
disclosure, I'm on the Imperial system, so I have no fucking idea how long that cable is.
12 feet. No, it's longer than that. That's 3 meters. 24 feet.
24.
You don't even know how long it is.
I don't know. It's longer than a man. All right, man,
others.
what have you got in the pipeline? Because, I mean, you've only just done a video and you adhere to the Log Power Slave schedule of I'll put out a video whenever the fuck I feel like it. So, have you got anything?
Joking about this. I've been joking about this all day. If you'd asked me 2 days ago when the next video is going to come out, I'd say probably Thursday. And the joke is, and I put it on Twitter, I think yesterday. And I forgot how did I word it? When you plan to make a 3 to 4 minute video and you realize you have 87 minutes of clips to watch.
Yeah,
because that's how many minutes of clips I have to actually watch and edit. So I did this whole video badly from an organizational standpoint. So next weekish, I'll have something out. But this may or may not ever happen, but it's in the works. Me and Mr. Chookie Wookie are in the pre-production phases of our own podcast.
Oh, competition. I did know this, and that's partly why I got you on, because to give you the opportunity to talk about it, because for what it is, it has the best name of all time, I think. Tell them what
We're tentatively going to call it the Old Wolf's Howl, because we're two really old, angry alcoholics who love Destiny. So there's a market for that. So if you are also an old, angry alcoholic, reach out to us. Let us know who you are, because the two of us can probably not carry a whole show.
You'd be surprised how far you can carry a show with nothing and no content, man. I mean, we're doing it right now. It's fucking easy.
We made it this far.
53 episodes in. What the fuck's this show about? I don't know. We just read the 12 and talk shit, really. Every now and then we get someone on that does something really remarkable and we're like, holy shit. Speaking of which, Sly, what have you got on the cards? What are you into?
I'm actually working on a raid video that has everybody's face cam on it. So all 6 people in the squad, we have all the face cams at the bottom. So that's something that I've never done before. So I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to turn out, because it's very experimental. We used the Discord video chat, and it actually worked better than we expected, and it was just kind of cool to be able to see all of us reacting in real time to what was happening on our screen. So it's going to take me a while, because I think it's like a 5-hour long clip or something. So yeah, it's going to be a while, I think. Maybe a week or so.
So
Yeah.
with the Discord, that still does the thing where like whoever is being the most loud and obnoxious, it makes them bigger. Is that still the thing?
No, when there was 6 of us, they were all of the icons were the same size, and then basically it was just getting OBS to look at Discord and record that.
Yeah.
Just drag it into the corner, and then the gameplay behind it. So it was actually pretty straightforward. But if we lost somebody, then somebody would get like really massive. But with 6 people, they're all the same size, and you can make it as big or small as you want. So it worked out strangely well.
So Discord is an option for the DDU, provided we have 3 guests every week.
Yes.
Wow, that's going to take some organisation.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you have an editing or a musical background?
Well, yeah, I played a lot of instruments as a child. I didn't do anything really as a teenager. I was also a dancer, so I've always been like really creative, and I don't really know how I sort of like why I started editing videos and stuff, but once I started, I was really addicted to it, and I just kept doing it, and now it's just like a thing that I love to do. And I see people and they're like, oh God, I hate editing so much. It's so boring. And I'm like, this is the best thing ever, So maybe I'm just weird. I don't know.
The reason I asked is I used to be a drummer as a young man. And I watched your 2 little dance videos you sent me. And the first thing I thought, 'cause, I mean, they're pretty cool. And it's still, I think, didn't one of them get honorable mention on Bungie?
Yeah, the first one did.
The first thing I saw was, besides how did she make everybody that size and make them disappear, was the timing with the music for the dance moves was incredible.
Yeah.
So, but only like a drummer or a musician would notice that. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
So, no, So can confirm she is a very good editor to steal Mr. Sloth's thing.
No, there you go. I didn't. Yeah, well, very good question, I suppose. That's fucking unreal. So I mean, like for me, editing. I don't know about Matt. Do you like editing? No, don't answer. Don't answer. He's got a lack of caffeine in his system. I can tell it. It might not be indicative of the normal myelin, right?
Okay. I've got two different opinions of this, okay? Depends on my schedule. Before, I was making 3 videos a week, which means I needed to make a video per day, which from start to finish, which means writing script, recording gameplay, editing gameplay. There's so much content in making that editing was the lowest on the list. Most effort went into 5 hours of script writing, an hour of recording audio, and then the rest was up to midnight just punching it together. That kind of editing is sort of mindless and not that enjoyable. More recently, some of my other videos, I've put a lot more effort into, because Anon Pigs helped with the script writing, so I don't have to spend 5-6 hours writing a script. Then I could shift some of that time into some, I would say, proper editing, where it's just not text overlays or anything like that. It's something that is a bit more engaging. And I think that's actually enjoyable. That's enjoyable.
So like more the stuff about telling a story or putting together.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm exactly the same.
Yep.
And the reason I say this is because I am a huge procrastinator, and I have who'd have picked it, but I've got a song, right, and I have had the song written, recorded, all that sort of shit, like following up arsehole. I've had that recorded for like 3 weeks. And the part of it that has absolutely fucked me is getting the motivation to get in and edit it. Because it's just like, I know it's going to be 2 whole nights of just sitting there clicking and not talking to anyone and doing that. So, I don't know. I think it's one of those things. You either love it or you don't. I'm probably cut from, like, when I'm doing the music side of it, I'm just, yes, I need to do this. I do it so quick. It all comes together really quickly because I'm passionate about it. And then it becomes this, like, actually, I'll tell you the complete story of what's happened, right? I've rewritten fucking Let It Go from Frozen to be about using the mitre in Trials of Osiris, right? So that's where we're at. That's the song written, recorded. It's, done. And the second that I fucking need to record Trials of Osiris footage, guess what? There's no trials for 2 weeks. Fuck you. Yeah. So I'm like, oh god. So that's where I've been. And now that it's back, it's been back for a couple of weeks because I needed a couple of weeks because it tells a bit of a fucking story. Now I've got to like get in and record some shit tonight and fucking edit it, and it'll be out next week. I'm committing to next week, which I've said it probably 5 times already that it'll be done by the end of the week, and it hasn't happened yet, so it probably won't happen. So live in fear or hope, whichever one.
Nice.
All right, well, has anyone got any closing comments? Is there anything anyone would like to say? Or can we get this show on the road?
I got nothing. I have nothing. It's always good to see everybody.
It is. It's been nice, hasn't it? Just sitting around having a chat.
Get to have a chat.
Matt is just look at him. Matt.
I'm angry. Do I have an angry
face?
face?
Just full on caffeine withdrawals. It's a thing of beauty.
I am. I'm right now. I'm like, I need. You know what? This
you're
will
like
be
in
the
stage 2 of heroin withdrawal right now. You're gonna start sweating any second and doing this.
This would be the ironic thing. Is I go make myself a new cup of coffee, whilst I try to open the keys on the keyboard, and I spill a new cup of coffee into the keyboard.
If that happens, you need to immediately not try and save your keyboard, but take a photo and upload it to Twitter, because that would just be divine intervention at this point. If you spill 2 cups of coffee into a fucking single keyboard, like in the same day, you're just not meant to have the keyboard.
And still didn't get to have your coffee.
All right, we're going to go so Matt can go and have coffee because I'm starting to actually really worry about his mental state. So, Sly, it's been really nice having you on. We're definitely going to have to get you back on sometime soon because it's, we don't have too many friends from across the ditch. You know why?
I wonder why.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Well, I mean, New Zealand is also down under, right? I don't know. Do you call yourself down under? Is that a thing?
No.
Right. Okay.
No, it's not a thing.
Okay.
Australia.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. No, never mind.
I learn something new every day.
We are just a little bit better.
A bit
Okay,
bitter or better?
Let's not go there.
Better.
Bitter.
Yeah, I know. We can tell. We can tell that you're a bit bitter. That's fine.
Oh,
with,
yeah,
with better country,
totally.
that's fine.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It wouldn't have been right to not have some kind of like international digs yet.
I've been waiting for it this entire time, to be honest.
All right, Matt, do your creepy thing.
Do it, Matt.
Get it over and done. It's going to be really creepy and sinister
No.
this week. No.
The law. No, okay, fine. I was gonna say no. The coffee will find you, but the law will find you too. The law will find you, and then the coffee will fuck your keyboard up.
Oh my god. All right. We'll see.
Very
Bye.
good.
Bye. That's more than enough out of us. See you later. See you next week. Have fun.
Bye.
We're gonna raid into someone, so hang around. Right. Bye.